Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to the SFR GT Challenge final season of GTS as we prepare for GT7. But we have a few rounds left, and it's been interesting so far as we look at the man himself who took a win last week in TX3 Courts, as we are at Lago Maggiore, somewhere that's very special to me and my partner, PX7 Rodrigo. As always, in the booth with me. How you doing tonight, Rod?
Yes, I'm pretty excited first of all, and I'm doing great. Thank you, Catch. And yeah, I am looking forward to this track. It's we've been saying it's one of the tracks that makes Gran Turismo such a great game. You know, the Gran Turismo series in general, all of the original tracks out there created by the game, the developers themselves, rather than just the real racetracks. So yeah, located in Italy, pretty beautiful scenery if you also look around rather than just at the track. And it's a great place to race at. It's a pretty yeah, rather than only a good track, it's a great place. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I'm really
got that.
excited.
Yeah, me too, me too. It's got that flow to it, right? Where it's just a real nice rhythm type of track that you can get into here. As we look at LSE and his infamous Audi, that Mobile One Audi there. You got DNA, Dr. Love Juice. So if we get you updated a little bit on what's going on here, we know DNA Maverick GT is currently leading the standings, and sorry for the beginning there. We'll get that sorted out for you on the stream, so we pull up all the standings correctly. And we'll have that for you next week. But Maverick is currently leading, and then I believe it's Quartz. I believe Quartz is actually in second place, and then the man himself, Sosa, is in third place. And after that, the grid is pretty split up here. We missed a few drivers last week. We haven't seen Bipolar, so if Bipolar is out there, we really need to find where Bipolar is, so we're putting out APB on Bipolar here. But yeah, we have J-Rod back here in his Lexus, so we're looking forward to seeing him on track here, maybe some battling with his teammate Little Mac. We have our Ghost, there you go, and the Viper. So we do have a mix of cars here. We got Advocate Leon in that matte red Supra. We have Hoodie in the Mustang, and he's been always rocking that teal Mustang for a long time now. And yeah, Hoodie's actually somebody to watch out for, Rod. He could put the pedal to the metal himself here.
Yeah, Hoodie isn't here every race, but some people might know him. He's pretty talented in that Mustang, and that Mustang really isn't the best of cars. So if you can bring it up there, it'll look great. It's not a car you see often, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I don't think he was here last race, so he's back. He's still in the season, and he's still trying to fight for some points, trying to improve, and yeah, I'm sure he's gonna have some fun out there, hopefully.
Yeah, and exactly. And then we got we've been talking about it a lot. Everybody in the chat has been talking about it as well, as we take a look at LJ from Rockafella. LJ qualified fourth, I believe, Rod. Yeah, he's been really coming along, impressive with him and Sep, what they've been able to do. We do have to note, unfortunately, Spec 1 is not with us tonight. He is currently up there in the points as well. But LJ's doing really well. It's going to be really interesting tonight, everybody, as we're going to get things going in about 1 minute here, and get the grid start going here and off to the races. We have 23 laps, right, Rod, tonight, and it's tire wear times 5, fuel times 3, and you have to run the racing hards and the racing mediums for a minimum of 5 laps each. So it's going to play a strategy again, like it has been doing over the course of the season. So, it's definitely going to be a strategic battle, I should say. Hey, Bugs, thanks for joining, bud. Cousin Bugs in the house, as always. But yeah, Rod, gonna be a strategic battle here when it comes down to strategy.
Oh yeah, indeed, and only being 23 laps, you know, it might not be that long of a race. So Interlagos was 26, and I think that this track also has a long pit delta. So some people might be thinking of skipping the softs. Maybe it's not worth it to run them, but we shall see. I'm sure that all these guys have their strategies figured out. Some will try to go bold and get track position rather than the fastest pace, maybe. And yeah, it's gonna be entertaining, an entertaining 40 minutes for sure.
Yeah, it is. So, with that being said, let's get things underway here as we will start the race right now, ladies and gentlemen. And just so you know, there is 3 red flags that we could possibly call. It's a really short run to T1, so these guys with some really good fast cars off the line are going to have a really good jump. So we're about to get things going down here. So round 4, season 4 here. So let's see what we can get here as we take a look at Sosa on pole here. I'm sorry, Quartz on pole here in the Mazda. You got Sosa right there, you got Maverick right there, and then you have LJ behind here. So let's see what the Supras do off the line in that vet. I would imagine Sosa is going to get it here, Rod, and even Maverick.
Yeah, here we go. Quartz back-to-back poles. I think he didn't win at Kyoto, but he did get pole position as lights go out, and it looks like Sosa has got a good start. He's alongside and he's ahead, and he's looking to win another race. He won round 1. I don't think he has won ever since. And Maverick getting in on the action round the outside of Quartz. Looks like he gets down the inside, and Quartz, pole seater, I think he led into turn 1 on the previous 2 races. Now he isn't leading, so pretty interesting. If he is to win this race, he's gonna have to fight his way through these 2 cars.
Yeah, absolutely, Rod. As you see the launch that those vets get, the Viper up a spot. Oh, looks like Advocate Leon in the back in the Supra got a little bit out of control there, but he could recover. As you have Hoodie right now, really on the back of Quartz. Hoodie's right there in the Mustang.
Yeah, Hoodie must have got a great start, because I don't know if he was a P6, maybe he was P5, and then he's only made up 1 position, but Hoodie on the Mustang looking really punchy right now. He's pretty close to the leaders as Maverick makes a bit of a mistake. He runs wide and his Quartz gonna take it. I don't think he's gonna have the top end. Looks like he doesn't. That Corvette has some muscle power, as here comes the Mustang on the straight. The one thing that the car does well, and he goes down the inside of 2 cars. Little bit of contact there with Maverick, but it's all good. He makes the apex and he holds the, well, Maverick stayed on the track, and there we go. Up into P3 for the Mustang.
Yeah, so speaking of hitting apexes, Apex in the chat, what's going on, my brother? Let's go RR, we appreciate that. No bias here, but this is intense off the bat, Rod, as all this is going on. Sosa, you can see breakaway. Maverick says, I'm not having any of that, and he winds up taking that spot back. He didn't lose it, but Hoodie was pushing there, and he was looking for it. This is really tough. Maverick wide on the grass.
Wide.
He's going to lose 2.
Yeah, he doesn't want to catch more grass on the outside, doesn't want to go all 4s of the track, so he just decides to stay on the track and lose 1 more position rather than risk spinning. But yeah, Hoodcat on the softs on the Mustang, that was crazy down the hill, you know, a pretty big drop in altitude. So and he's on the soft tires and he's on the Mustang, which is incredibly fast on a straight line. Not too good on the corners, but he's using that power advantage to make a position, and he's up into P2 from P5, I think. So that's crazy. Well done.
Great start from him, as Quartz did recover, starting to get into a rhythm a little bit. Maverick's got to be a little careful, as we have right now LJ with a great move up the inside on Love Juice. LJ did qualify 4th, but he lost a couple positions with that Supra off the line. But then you have 2 vets going at it right now, bumper to bumper here. Look at this. Will they bump draft each other as Love Juice is ahead of Sephiroth? Looks like they might
Love
play
Juice,
their car safe. I'm not sure.
Love Juice looks to have the draft from LJ actually, and he might make a move. He takes a peek. So yeah, Cephai couldn't get any closer because also Love Juice had a bit of safety mass. LJ runs a bit wide. Looks like Love Juice around the outside, flat out through here. They leave each other's space. It's hard. You can always understeer here. A little bit of Robin, but they both make it through all right. And here we go. Who's gonna? Oh, well, they goes for it on the outside. Looks like no, he's gonna be too hot, but he's still side by side. Is he gonna still fight it? Are they gonna leave each other's space? Yes, understeer. Oh. Cephai is getting close, looking to capitalize. Maybe these two get into it a little bit. They run wide, they lose time, and looks like Cephai is gonna take advantage now, and he's gonna swap positions with the other Corvette. Which Corvette is ahead? We don't know. Looks like Cephai gets ahead, and now he's clear. Oh, Love just goes back down the inside. He did the dummy on him. Before he had him, Cephai was trying to go into the racing line and brake properly and not overhook it. Sorry, we've missed it. Hoodcat in the lead, so it's an American car in the lead, not the one you think of though. It's the Mustang in the lead, not the Corvette. So that's crazy. He's gone from P5 to P1 on what 2 laps, and this is what you gotta do. You're on the soft compound. You might not be too fast, but you can go out there and get some track position. And Hoodcat in the lead right now. So.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Welcome, welcome, Magic. Thanks a lot, Team Captain Magic Man in the house. Thank you, Magic. What an unbelievable job. We're watching this battle going crazy here between LJ Sephiroth and Love Juice. And meanwhile, Hoodcat, like you said, Rod, has made up that time in the softs in that Mustang. The Mustang is a very heavy understeery type of car, but it does have power in the straight lines, and Hoodie knows how to drive it, that's for sure. He's got two really fast drivers on his tail, so he's got to keep his composure. He's got to make sure that he just does what he needs to do on the soft tire, make sure that he doesn't, you know, get any out of whack here. Like I said, keep his composure and see what happens here as we go through. Maverick not too far behind here, as Maverick is looking and saying thank you, Hoodie, because I will catch on to the back of Quartz hopefully. But we do have this battle here as it starts to separate a little bit. We might have missed something here, Rod, because Love Juice is now in 8th place, so he lost out between Sep and LJ, and now he's actually got Ghost on his tail. As Ghost gives him a little tap in the rear and says, "What are you doing here?" Let's go on board with Ghost for a minute here and see what he does as we see that beautiful sunshine.
Sorry, just to cut you off. Here he goes. Quartz down the inside of turn 1. It'll turn to the outside for the next corner. So if Sosa holds it, no, it doesn't hold it. And now Quartz pulls Cedar back into P2. He was P4 at one point, but yeah, he has the pace. He's having to overtake some cars, and it's gonna get interesting. I can tell you that with strategy. Sosa is also looking pretty quick. So yeah, it's Hoodcat, Quartz, Sosa.
Yeah, and when you look at this, Rod, when you see what happens here, I know that a lot of it's just the driver in you wants to make that pass, wants to make that aggressive type move and just pedal to the metal the whole way through. But when you battle, you have to know that it allows other cars to catch you. So sometimes battling isn't the best thing, and you know, these guys got to save fuel. When you're battling a lot, you do scrub up your tires, so you'll have a lot more wear. As you see that the Mazda is really running down now, Hoodie here in the lead. We'll see what Quartz can do. He's got the slipstream as he's pulled away from Sosa. Will he go for a move? Beautiful sparks flying in our face here. He gets a great exit by Quartz. What an exit by Quartz. He actually had to back off a little bit or he was going to really hit the rear end of that Stang.
Yeah, it looks like right now, Hoodie, you got to give it up to him now. I think he's going to be losing a little bit of time, but first few laps he's really used the tire life out of those stuffs, you know, fastest tire, so that's what you gotta do. You gotta get those moves done and overtake. And now he's looking really under pressure. Looks like he's understeering a lot, but hey, he hasn't gone off the track and he's still ahead. Final corner, and Quartz just has a little bit more grip, a little bit more confidence. And here we go, side by side. But that Mustang has power, so he's gonna be keeping it pedal to the metal. Maybe he could outbrake him, but Quartz goes down the inside, overtakes it a little bit. So Hoodie's looking to get it back, but he can't, and Quartz, pole steer, was down in 4th a few laps ago, and now he's back in the lead.
Yeah, great driving overall by all three of these drivers. As Sosa looks like he's just playing his cards right. He was just waiting around saying, you know what, I'm going to let these guys battle all they want. I'm doing what I have to do. As we take a look at Maverick here in 4th place, we know Maverick, he said he doesn't really love this track as far as it goes, but he's put the work in, so Maverick is somebody you can't sleep on, and as long as he's within striking distance, anything can happen here at Maverick here, as now we have LJ in 5th place all by himself. He's got a 2-second lead over his teammate Sephiroth, and I'm telling you, Rod, we missed something here with Love Juice, as Little Mac here now in 7th place, not too far behind, really just still attached to the train here, if you will, not out of reach totally, but Love Juice was in basically fourth position, and that all got undone somehow. As we go through the grid, look at this, we have another battle here between J-Rod and LSE. LSE in the Audi, what's he gonna do here? He's got the slip, he's gonna go for the inside move here.
Here we go, not easy to hold the inside into this corner. Think the hardest braking zone of the track, and an incredibly bumped corner. You gotta keep hug the inside, but it's you don't have the race line. It's pretty easy to understeer wide. But LSE gets the move done. J-Rod didn't get the exit, didn't use the banking to his advantage maybe, but yeah, LSE has it done.
Yeah, great job by LSE. That was a great move. He had the slip. You know, again, some of these drivers might be playing their cards, you know, a little bit ace up their sleeves, so to speak, because somebody like J-Rod might be on a lesser compound. We'll get a tire update, as Ghost is right there on the back of this whole situation here. As you see a little bit of damage on Ghost's front right bumper. It could have been from, I think, that little tap with Love Juice, as J-Rod dumps in into the pit. So J-Rod was on the hard compound. He's getting them out of the way here, as Advocate Leon is behind because he did have that spin at a T3, I'm sorry. But we go back to the front now. So mark J-Rod off your list if you're watching at home. J-Rod has checked off the hards. He's done his 5 laps. So Quartz in the lead. Now you still have Hoodie. This is interesting. You still have Hoodie right here with Sosa. Now Sosa is getting mighty close, and he's probably going to look for a run up the straight here and the back straight. See if he can get it, Rod.
Yeah, here we go. He's close. He's got a good exit. You gotta set this overtake starts all the way back on the SS. You gotta keep your focus. You gotta get a good run through there, and it looks like he is getting a good run, and he's on the flip rim, and he has pulled out, brakes hard, blocks the run from Hoodcat, dictates the corner, and he is once again ahead. Stays on the race line. Hoodcat gets close, but cannot get it back.
And that's one thing you got to give up to Hoodcat. He never gives up, and none of these drivers really do. But that was a textbook move by Sosa. You know, Sosa, again, letting everybody know, SV Sosa, you know, so Sosa, Quartz from TX3, Hoodcat PDX, and DNA, and then RR. So you have 5 different teams, 1 through 5, which is pretty exciting to see as you hear that Mazda blazing by. Quartz is starting to pick up some space here on these drivers. Rod, why don't we get an update through the field on what everybody is?
Here comes Hoodcat. Hoodcat is coming back at Sosa. Down the inside, brakes hard, makes the corner. Leaving plenty of room, even though it was a pretty late line, so that's pretty good driving. And
man, he is on him now.
Yes, Sosa just needs to try to check out right now, because Hoodcat is on more worn. I mean, naturally the softs would start losing performance right now compared to the mediums, but Hoodcat is still in him, and still on him, and he still wants a bit of a battle. So and Sosa is not able to shake him off right now, so that must be a bit annoying. Quartz looks to be pulling away, but I'm sure that Sosa might drop Hoodcat sometime soon, or maybe Hoodcat has the pace tonight. We will see. Well,
it certainly looks like Hoodcat has the pace right now, and it has done. But there you see through the S's that Mustang getting understeer, especially when the softs get worn. So that is something that you definitely have to keep in mind, as, again, not too far behind is Maverick, down 3 seconds to Hoodie, but he's got a 5-second gap on this man, LJ, the leading Rockafella Racing driver. So LJ's got to be pretty happy, because he did qualify 4th, and he's only down 1 position here due to that launch, and give Hoodie credit because Hoodie did jump him. So, you know, and Sephiroth again, a little bit behind his teammate here, but doing a really good job as we see Little Mac there. And again now, LSE and Love Juice here. What is going on here? As LSE in that R8 is looking to make something happen. What a beautiful sunset that we get in the background as we look at DNA Motorsports on the rear wing of Love Juice's car. How does that Audi handle through this last sector? He closes in on him a little bit here. He's really closing in, Rod. He's really closing in. Love Juice looks like he's going to maintain, though. A little bit wide from LSE. Get that dirt. Yeah, LSE's got a great run.
Oh, yes, he had such a good run. He barely missed the back of Love Juice. That looks great. And now is he gonna try to outbrake him? Love Juice holds the outside, holds maybe the preferred racing line, and there we go. He stays ahead for the moment.
I got to tell you though, Rod, right now there is just extreme battles all over the place, and Ghost again now not too far out, 4 seconds behind the battle with Love Juice and LSE. J-Rod did make his pit stop already, so good news for J-Rod off the hards. Advocate Leon behind, but he's making his way back up to the field in that matte red Supra. So, we take a look at Quartz. What's the tire situation here, Rod? What is Quartz on?
Quartz is on the mediums, looking to go a few more laps in them, probably. Sosa is also on the mediums, then Rudy on the softs, as we said before, and then Maverick also on the mediums in P4.
So really, Maverick has to do a lot of work here to keep up with Sosa and Quartz, and even Hoodie, because Hoodie is still a decent gap ahead of him. 3.5 seconds. So we'll see. A lot of times too, you got to keep in mind that these drivers might be conserving their tires, somebody like Maverick, so they might not be pushing as hard. It all comes down to strategy here. So 8 laps down out of 23 here. As we go look at LJ, is LJ on the mediums, Rod? What's up, One Wing in the house? Thank you, my man. Okay, Quartz is in.
LJ currently on the mediums, yes.
Okay, Quartz is in, Sosa's in. Let's see what these boys do. Maverick stayed out. Maverick's going for the overcut, ladies and gents. Maverick is going for the overcut. There's Quartz's team from TX3 getting him ready. Rips out, loses 1 spot to LJ. Not bad. Ooh, Quartz getting a little loose on cold tires. Got to be careful there, as he is now directly on the back of LJ. And Sosa did come out ahead of Sephiroth. So LJ got for the Rockafella drivers, and Maverick from DNA are on different strategies here. Let's see how long it takes Quartz to catch LJ here, as you have to assume that LJ is going to come in either this lap or next along with Maverick. But Maverick on track right now, the net leader, but we know Quartz is actually overall leader. So let's see if Quartz gets a run here. Did Quartz go on to the softs?
Quartz is currently getting rid of the racing hards, and then we could expect him to run the racing softs until the end.
Okay, so he knows he's not going to be able to outdrag that Supra, but LJ is giving him the flashes saying, you know what, I think you can go ahead if you want. But he doesn't take advantage of it, Rod. Oh, now he does. Now he does.
Look at that. Here you go.
Whew.
No, but that Super is going to outdrag him up the hill for sure. And oh, no. LJ leaves plenty of room. And fair enough. Of course, was still there on the outside. I think he could have held it there, but says, you know what, you're going fast right now, and you've got newer tires, so you can go, and I'll run my own race.
Okay, so we have Maverick now. As we take a look at Maverick here, I would think that Maverick would be pitting now, unless he decides to. No, he's going to run the stint longer. Okay, so Maverick going for a different strategy here, like you mentioned in the beginning of the race, Rod. Maybe somebody will not take the softs, and it's kind of been unprecedented in SFR, as we mentioned last week, that your teammate PX7 Defsun, the one, the only, the man himself, he's only one in SFR history who's never run the soft compound. And then last week we had the whole Rockafella team didn't run the soft compound. So you know, maybe Maverick is thinking about that as he's got a 6.5 second gap on Quartz. You'd figure that would grow a little bit as Quartz is on the hards, but we'll see what happens here. This is interesting, as I believe now LJ again on the same strategy, and Sosa and Quartz are getting rid of those hards. So Sosa has not yet been able to rail in LJ. Let's take a look at Sephiroth. Sephiroth is still there, but now he's got Hoodie. He's got Hoodie coming up directly on the back of him now. So Sephiroth has yet to make a pit stop, and Hoodie has. Did Hoodie jump back on the softs rod, or did he switch to the mediums?
Hoodie has switched to the mediums, yes. I don't think you'll be wanting to do an extra stop because pit delta should be about 18 to 16 seconds. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I don't think that he'll be wanting to do another stop other than that one. So should be going to the hards sometime soon. He's gonna run these mediums long and then go to the hards until the end.
Well, the hardest part is what he has to do right now, and that's going to be clear Sephiroth. Let's see if he can actually do that here, as we'll keep you posted on what happens in the front of the field here. But as we see right now, you can see how Sep's mediums are getting a little bit worse for the wear. And there it is, conceded. Great pass by Hoodie there. So Hoodie's going to be off to the races. He's got clean air ahead of him now, and there you go. LJ dipped into the pit. Maverick has not. So Maverick is still on the mediums in the lead. LJ into the pits, and so is Sephiroth. So let's see if Little Mac jumps in. Little Mac does jump in. So let's get you caught up to the front of the field as Quartz is closing the gap now on Maverick. Only 4.5 seconds. So Quartz took about a second off that lap. So Maverick, like I said before, he's only down not even 7/10 on the first sector, so he's been taking care of his strategy here. So tonight Apex, it is a mandatory minimum of 5 laps on the mediums and 5 laps on the hards, and the tire wear is ×5 and the fuel is ×3, so they will need fuel for sure as well. But there is an option where maybe they don't take the soft tires. Now that's something that Maverick can do, and possibly Quartz and Sosa, but Hoodie cannot do that because Hoodie already ran the soft tires. So it's going to be interesting here. It's now we have, after the pit cycle here, we have J-Rod coming into 5th place now in the Lexus, so he's got plenty of room from Hoodcat. Hoodcat is safe, but we have LJ, and look at that, Rod. Somehow Little Mac pitted after Sephiroth, and somehow Sephiroth came out behind him. So what is going on here? Did they go on completely different compounds? As now the battle increases, as you see LSE in the background creeping up, but now you have Love Juice looking to get Sephiroth back for that vet-on-vet crime earlier in the race here. So let's see what Love Juice can do here.
Yeah, Love Juice and Sephi, I think they are both running. Actually, Sephiroth has refueled right now and he should be further up the road. He has like almost a full tank, so I think he's going till the end on this fuel. Meanwhile, Little Mac, who he was battling, and Love Juice, who was a bit further back, I think, has caught up to him. But I think that later on in the race, Sephi could be back up there with Little Mac when Little Mac has to take some fuel himself. But right now, Little Mac choosing to run a lighter car on the hards. I think that's a good choice because the hards are pretty hard to drive. But yeah, they have the least grip, and if you can run a lighter car with them, then you can probably. It's not that bad of a feeling rather than running them on a full tank. So
right, the lighter the better, especially as you said.
It's gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, because exactly like you're saying there, as we see somebody run wide in the distance, there was that Love Juice, but now LSE in that Audi, and that R8 is not an easy car to drive. Mid-engine car is pretty tough. I think it's the only mid-engine car that we have throughout the whole grid, which is saying something for LSE. LSE does switch between ACC and Gran Turismo, so props to him as well. So does Little Mac. So we have to give credit where credit is due. But LSE is now really on a charge here. As we get an onboard shot with him, he's really just right out of the slipstream from Love Juice here. So we'll see if LSE could make up some room here, make up some time. But it looks like Sephiroth is keeping that gap from him and Love Juice here. So even on the more fuel, Sephiroth seems to have a little bit more pace right now here. So let's go back up here. We got Little Mac in 7th. LJ in 6th, making his way back. He's gaining some time on J-Rod right now, who's in 5th place. J-Rod's going into the pits. J-Rod decided to come off the soft tires, so J-Rod has his hards out of the way, and he has the softs out of the way. Is he going to do the mediums for the rest of the race? Do you think that's what he's going to do, Rod?
Yeah, mediums look like a strong compound there. They can last pretty long, longer than the softs, of course, and then they hold a pretty good pace later into the stint. So I think he's taking some fuel, and I think he's gonna should be going 11 laps with those mediums until the end, unless well, he hasn't gone too long on those softs, so maybe he could go back to the softs and then as a quick stint with them, pushing them with the lighter fuel. So yeah, he's actually looking on a pretty good position. I think he should be fighting in the top 5 right now, as the cars ahead haven't or are yet to stop for another compound, or maybe just because of tire wear they'll have to come in again as Quartz right behind of Maverick right now.
Yeah, and here you go. So Maverick has yet to pit, okay, and Quartz has, so now those mediums must be really, really worn for Maverick here, as he's defending his life off to Quartz. Now Maverick might come into the pits right now. We will see, and see what he does here. Is he going to come in? I think he might want to. He does. Oh, look at this, both of them in at the same time. Quartz with a little bit more fuel. Maverick's gonna have to go to the hards, and
yeah, that's...
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Rod. Yeah, Maverick will have to go to the hards.
That's the problem, and kudos to Maverick for trying something different today, because Quartz just looks a bit too fast. You know, he did say it's one of his favorite tracks, so yeah, Quartz is gonna have to go. Sorry, Quartz is gonna go on the front. This is the best strategy for him, and Maverick still comes out ahead. It's track position, so it's always good to have that, but he's on the racing hards versus Quartz on the racing soft, so he's gonna be looking to hold him up for as long as he can. But yeah, Quartz just gets around him. He has pretty... Actually, no, he's run wide, and Maverick gets back at him for a second or two. He was alongside, but Quartz is back ahead of him.
Yeah, great racing here. As you see, Maverick here, not going to give up easily, definitely not, and he's still in a decent position for sure. But now, interesting here, you have Quartz coming up on a back marker here at Advocate Leon, so we got to be careful through here. Woo, through the S's. How did Maverick make out? Okay, Leon did a good job of getting out of the way there and forcing himself to run a little bit wide, as you see that Quartz is just putting a gap on. But this is going to come down to something crazy at the end, because we still have yet to see Hoodie dip in again. Hoodie's going to have to run the hards, and he's going to relinquish that lead to Quartz. And the question will be, will he come out ahead of Maverick or Sosa? So that is going to be the big question from Hoodie, and exactly what lap will he pit on. If he's going to have to run the hards, he's going to only want to go and run 5 laps on him. So, or no, I could be mistaken here. He's in the pit, so there's a liar out of me right there. Oh, that might be why, because he might have needed fuel. That Mustang does eat fuel. One wing. Like I'm sorry, Rod. One wing. Yeah, the next. The next race is Dragon Trail. another famous track. Now Hoodie gets jumped now, so we'll see what Hoodie is gonna do as he goes hard. So Hoodie looks like he's gonna be on the hards for the rest of the race here. So now, what's the situation here? Little Mac 4 seconds behind, and Sephiroth closing in as well, and Love Juice right there, LSE right there. Look at this, J-Rod right there. There's a battle all over the place through the field here. LSE has to actually check himself up so he doesn't get into the rear of Love Juice, as J-Rod now really had to back off a little bit as well here.
Ooh.
This is craziness happening right here. And there is... Go ahead.
Yeah, can I just give a shout out to LSE, because he got into the... This is the first time he's racing on GT Sport with us. Oh, as he goes off, he might have spun it. No, he saves it. Actually, there might have been contact with J-Rod, who lifts off to not gain the position, so that's a good sportsmanship. But yeah, can I just give a shout out to LSE, because he has just started racing with us on GT Sport, and this car is a tough one to handle, and I think that he's been getting better as the races have gone by, as he's been trying to keep up with all these guys who are really good drivers in their own right, and now he's every race more and more we see him more in the mix and getting more confident with this car, which as we said, is pretty hard to control. So yeah, credit where it's due. You love to see these drivers getting involved. You love to see everyone improving and getting better, and getting sharing this good racing with each other. So yeah, good stuff from LSE.
Yeah, it's been absolutely wonderful to see, and that car is not an easy car to drive at all. I know I certainly couldn't do it, especially being away from GTS for so long, but even at my peak, Rod, I was not able to drive the Audi, the R8. As we see J-Rod coming up here, he's going for that move. He wants the inside. He does have the inside. I think LSE might concede that. Little Mac in the pits right now. LSE going wide, drifting. Don't get into the... Ooh! Wow! That was something else, how he had to enter the pits like that. Oh my goodness gracious. He ran wide and he was just able to get into the pit lane, at least with that, what it looked like from here. So, we'll see what those guys do, as we see Ghost now coming into T1 in a solid position, in 8th position. He might try and stretch it out the rest of the way through, but Little Mac will be on the softs. I'm not sure about LSE, so it's going to put these guys out in a pretty good position here when it's all said and done. Love Juice here in 11th. Advocate Leon just getting lapped there by Sosa or Maverick or somebody, maybe it was LJ. This is really close though, guys. LJ is holding off Hoodie by 2.2 seconds here, and at the front now you can see Maverick now is chasing down Sosa here, and Quartz just looks like he is over and out right now, as it would seem to be in that Mazda. Quartz is really doing a phenomenal job. Why don't we, while we have the chance, let's go on board with Quartz here for a lap around MAGGIORE. As we come into the last turn, Rod will take you through with Quartz right now at the start-finish line. Go ahead, Rod. Take him away.
Here we go, crossing the line. Actually a purple lap, braking just after the 100-meter board, trail braking beautifully. Don't stress the front end, and then flick into first gear. No first gear, but keeping the front end happy once again. Not too much braking. You don't want to be trail braking too deep into the corner. This corner, not flat out, just a tiny bit of lifting, setting you up for the next right-hander. Third gear, early on the power. You can use a lot of the curb on the outside to maximize your exit. Now flat out, this corner is a bit banked, and you don't want to be too far outside, because you can clip the grass and it'll just wash you out and you'll understeer a little bit. You just want to clip the inside, clip that outside curve a little bit, and then accelerate as you go uphill into the SS. Trail brake just a little bit, don't go too hard on the front end. Here you can use a lot of the track, and then if you set the previous corners up correctly, then this last left-hander should be flat out. Now you go flat out all the way, a little bit uphill, and then the hardest braking zone of the track, you're gonna brake at the end of the wall. This looks pretty scary. It's a big drop in altitude, and then hard on the brakes, hug the inside. Don't go into the gravel on the outside, just keep it on that outside curb. Now, once again, you're going uphill. This one should be flat out easily, but you gotta set it up correctly for the next one. You don't wanna. You could understeer here with a different car class or maybe more harder compound. So just you gotta hug the inside. Now here, third gear. Now you go wide and then hug the inside once again. And here is flat out once more, and then right. You look at the curve at the corner of your eye. You brake just before the end of it, and here put all your car on the curb and flat out up to the line.
What a track guide there by Rodrigo. Nobody does it better than him, and Quartz is a technician right now at this track. As Rod mentioned before, this is one of his better tracks. He does love this track. Beautiful liveries from the TX3 team. So Quartz is looking poised to possibly get his second victory in a row, which he would love nothing more. But you cannot sleep on Sosa either, as Sosa is definitely one of the elite drivers in Gran Turismo, and so is Maverick here. So these three look pretty locked in for a podium, bearing some sort of crazy incidents here. So knock on wood, no commentator curse. You have LJ here really pushing hard in that Supra. You gotta commend him because he did get he lost 2 positions off the start with that Supra, but he gained it back within the opening 2 or 3 laps as we had that battle with him, Sephiroth, and Love Juice. So really, really good job by LJ here. LJ's coming along really nice. He just has to hold himself together here and book another solid finish in, but he can't go to sleep because you have this man Hoodie who is behind him here, and he's within 5 seconds. So Hoodie could really do something here. As we have Sephiroth, as we go through the field now, Sephiroth is getting hunted down by J-Rod, as we see J-Rod is well ahead of Little Mac and Love Juice. So this is a battle right here now, as we're going to go on board with J-Rod here, as you can see him climb the hill here. And what will happen here? How far will he be behind here? He's not going to be able to get an overtake yet, but it's only a matter of time. So Sephiroth is going to have to really do some defending as he gets a little bit loose out of the turn there to hit the apex quite right. But let's stay on board with J-Rod and see what he can do here. And this is getting spicy, Rod. This is getting spicy here.
Yeah, J-Rod closing in and not too many laps to go. So takes a bit of a peek on the inside. Looks a bit quicker than Sepai right now, but these are not really overtaking opportunities usually. But he's gonna put him under pressure, maybe force an error through the final corner. Final corner very easy to understeer wide, as Sepai misses the entry a little bit. Maybe catches a bit of grass, not really, but J-Rod keeps it tighter. You always want to have the inside into turn 1, but looks a bit too far back. Maybe later on the brakes. No, not really. He's still waiting behind us. Sepai, yeah, you can tell he's under pressure. He's missing corner entries a little bit, and he's missed turn 2, and now J-Rod just hugs the inside. Nothing particularly great. He's just going faster right now, and he makes quick work of Sepai.
Yeah, and you gotta tip your hat to J-Rod, because J-Rod actually did pull off a unique strategy so far. One of the few who went this route, and it looks like it's paying off for him, as now he has some clean air. I don't know if it's going to be enough time, because you know Sephiroth is not going to give up, but he could see that Hoodie is 10 seconds out. So it is asking a lot, but is certainly not over yet, and Sephiroth will not give up either. So if Sephiroth can stay in that slip, he might be able to make something happen here. But let's take a look at Hoodie here, who was in the lead for a while. He's closed that gap down now on LJ, so this is going to play out interesting. Now Hoodie has to be careful that he doesn't burn too much of his tires up here, but if he could hold on to his tire life here, Rod, he might actually be able to pull an LJ who's just ahead by 4.5 seconds here. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see what is going to happen with this here. As we go back through, Maverick just crossing the finish line. Sosa and Quartz. Quartz is going through T3 right now. Sosa just a ways out. 6 seconds for Quartz, 10 seconds for Maverick. So Maverick Maverick is going to want to be on this podium here for sure to keep his standings alive. Oh,
Oh,
Hoodie had a pit. I did not realize that.
yeah, Hoodie
Hoodie.
is gonna go for a final stint on the softs. I think only going on for 5 laps. He's gonna go on the softs, and I think he's gonna come out P7. But being on new softs, he's gonna have to chase down Sepai and J-Rod. So it just got interesting for him, and it just got interesting for J-Rod, who is now in the top 5. So great drive.
Yeah, so Hoodie on some fresh softs and ready to go for the rest of the race. He only comes out 3 seconds ahead of Little Mac, but he's going to look to build that up because Little Mac is definitely on worn tires, as Love Juice as well. Love Juice only 2.5 seconds behind. LSE now and Ghost. Everybody's really within striking distance of each other. 4 laps to go here, so let's get through here again and see where we're at here as we go up to J-Rod. J-Rod in a solid 5th position, but Sephiroth only 1.5 seconds behind here. So LJ in 4th right now. Maverick in 3rd. Sosa in 2nd. Quartz in 1st. But the real battle is going to be between where we said with Hoodie, Sephiroth, J-Rod, and Little Mac. I think it's going to really come down to that. So as we keep an eye on Quartz, Quartz has been on those tires for quite some time. He's only not even a second down. So Quartz has not only got the fastest lap of the race, but he's really, really whipping that Mazda around. So take a look at Sosa losing a second or 2 through here, give or take, and so is Maverick. But like we said, the battle is really going to be between here as LJ looks like he's poised for another solid finish at 4th place here. Good on LJ here. Still running really pretty decent lap times. But the man to look out for right now, as we said, is J-Rod. J-Rod was really patient when he was behind some drivers. Oh, does J-Rod have to go in? J-Rod has to go in! This is crazy here. So he's going to lose the spot to Sephiroth. I don't know why J-Rod had to go in. This is a little bit of a head twister to me, Rod. I think J-Rod could have finished.
He had 20 liters for 3 laps. That doesn't sound too bad. I think he could have been good, but
look at this.
He hasn't taken fuel actually. He's just gone on the soft tires. So I don't see the reasoning honestly. I think these drivers know what they're doing. They're all, as we said, great drivers in their own right. But personally, as the commentator, I think that 3 laps to go, and you lose a lot of time in the pit lane, and he hasn't taken fuel. He's just gone on the soft tires. So maybe he thought that those mediums weren't gonna last him too long or too much longer. So yeah, he's back out in P8.
Yeah, I gotta say, Rod, I as Love Juice is closing in here, but on J-Rod, I don't agree with that, Rod. I don't. But again, we don't know his situation. We don't know if his tires were that bad. But he was basically locked in for 5th position with 3 laps to go. Maybe he would have had to do a little bit of defending, but I gotta wonder about that because that's a net 3 positions lost. As you take a look at Little Mac now, who. It is worth mentioning, though, that Little Mac is not yet out of the woods to his teammate, which is J-Rod, who's only 1.9 seconds behind him. But now that gave a 6.5 second, 7-second gap to Hoodie, who was able to jump J-Rod in the pits, and so is Sephiroth. So Sephiroth is saying to himself, thank you so much. Could I hold on for another 2 laps? So maybe it's not crazy battling through the top 3 and 4. They have pretty much checked out, but you have this here right now with Hoodie and Sephiroth here as Hoodie goes for a move up the inside. Gets it done.
Yeah, that was nice. I like this strategy. He's been like hunting them down for the last 2 laps, and I think he pitted with like 5 laps to go, so he's had very little time to get back up to the position he was before, which was P5, but he's done it, and good job.
Yeah, really good job from Hoodie. I think Hoodie has been I would say so far, the driver of the day. Stick around because we will have an interview with the winner of the race and the driver of the day here. And for a while, it was looking like J-Rod might have got that. As you see, J-Rod now is closing in on his teammate Little Mac here. But if J-Rod never pit for that last set of softs here, J-Rod would have really still been ahead of Hoodie and had to defend him off. So let's see if he's going to get his teammate up the hill here, Rod.
Yeah, here we go. I think that Little Mac might play the team game. I'm not entirely sure, but J-Rod with newer softs, he might still be able to hunt down SFR, but no, actually, yeah, I think that Little Mac... Yeah, I think that Little Mac might have pulled over there, and now the gap between J-Rod and Sefa is 6 seconds, but Sefa is on worn out hards, and J-Rod is on pretty new softs, so he might get close, but I think it's too little too late, being 6 seconds back.
Yeah, and I gotta wonder what happened to Love Juice. We did not say it, but Love Juice certainly has the pace for top 4, top 5 finishes, and something definitely happened to Love Juice. His car looks clean, but something must have happened, and that's why we tell everybody every week the strategy is so key. As Love Juice runs wide, but he saves it. Good save by Love Juice there. Good save. So, LSE, not too far behind, doing a really good job, but he's got to watch out because this man Ghost in the Viper is not too far behind. He's been putting laps in. He's been having his head down. He's running some consistent lap times here. So the battle is not over between LSE and Ghost as we are on the final lap, and we'll take us through the field one more time as we look at Quartz. And Quartz is coming around here, heading through the last corner, drifting a little bit. TX3 Quartz is going to get his second win in a row, back-to-back weeks. There you go, Quartz, doing a little bit of e-brake shifting and bobbing and weaving here. Sosa coming around for a solid drive in second place. Really good job by Sosa. This is definitely going to mix up the points here, as Maverick not too far behind, but was a little bit off the pace tonight between Quartz and Sosa. Quartz was just dominant tonight. Good job by Maverick. As we have LJ here, LJ is going to come home in a 4th place finish. A really solid finish for LJ. Awesome looking livery from Magic Man, team captain, St. Jude's livery. LJ, phenomenal job coming home in 4th place. Really great run. As we have Hoodie here now, who was able to take home a top 5 finish. A really great strategy that he pulled out, Rod. I really got to tell you that. And Sep not too far behind, but look at this. Will J-Rod be able to catch him? It might be too little, too late.
It was 6 seconds. Wow. Okay.
Good driving there.
Yeah, it was, the gap was 6 seconds, and I thought, oh, it's too late. But one more, not even one more lap, one more sector, one more corner, and he would have been all over him.
Yeah, indeed he would have. As LSE coming home, good job LSE, getting that Audi to drift. And there he is, Ghost, who was just behind. Flash of the high beams for Ghost, great job. Advocate Leon, not too far behind. Rod, I got to tell you, this grid has been pretty close, actually, all night long. There was some really crazy battles here, but give it up to Quartz. Again, another win. There is the standings, ladies and gents. And I believe Quartz hit the Triple Crown again for back-to-back weeks. Did he?
Yeah,
we shall see. He did. He did. So Quartz, pole position, fastest lap, and the clean race, Triple Crown. Great job by Quartz. It was really unbelievable. But Rod, I think if anybody in the chat has a driver that they want to have interviewed, I would say we have to vote for Hoodie. It was going to be J-Rod, and we would like to see why J-Rod did what he did, but I would say Hoodie. That would be my opinion. We know that Quartz is going to be in the interview room with us, but Rod, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Is it Hoodie? And we'd love to hear from J-Rod. We'll have to ask him what happened, but that was a really great great race, great strategy, played out unbelievably. So, oh, and we just got word in the chat, if maybe you guys
Oh,
can see that on screen, that Maverick's wheel broke during Q and he had no force feedback. Hate to hear that,
Jesus, that's
but
unfortunate.
yeah,
Well, yeah, sorry. I think that Hoodie definitely was the one that gave us a pretty great excitement, in my opinion. He started on the sauce, and he was the only one other than Quartz to lead the race, I think. So actually, Sosa led the race for a while, but when Hoodie made the move and overtook for the lead, he did lead the race for longer, I think. And first time he's been leading this season, and with the Mustang, so great to see. And then he was also pulling off some more overtakes at the end, putting on the softs. So
can
he
you
maybe.
can you get Hoodie to tell him to interview?
Oh yeah, sure thing.
Thank you. Yes, we'll go with Hoodie there. Thank you, One Wing. Appreciate that. Great race and comms. We do appreciate everybody out there who does enjoy the commentating. We've been trying our best. So yeah, great job to those guys here. I will save the replay as well, Rod. I'm gonna have to clear out a lot of my replays here, but
Yeah.
you could save it as well. And we will meet Quartz and Hoodie in the interview room here. But wow, that was a great race here. Really crazy strategies here how it played out. But if we take a look on screen here, there he is, the man Quartz, taking home his second win in a row here. Sosa, a great job. But I mean, you just see the gap there, 10 seconds, and Quartz was just on fire tonight. But it came down to right here. If you see where J-Rod wound up pitting, like we said, he was on the mediums. There was 3 laps to go. He pitted on lap 20, and he would have been able to hold off or at least fight Hoodcat. So that's a real interesting way that turned out here. But let's go in and talk to Quartz here. If you just bear with us a second, and we can get into the proper comms area here. So yeah, so we're in the interview room here. I will keep the stream up in case anybody wants to hear from somebody a certain question from anybody. But we have TX3 Quartz with us tonight, and again a second win in a row here for Quartz. Last week at Interlagos and tonight at MAGGIORE. What a job by Quartz, TX3 Quartz. TX3 Quartz, what was it tonight that gave you that advantage? Was it just the track combo that you love, or that you know the track as you mentioned prior to the race, or was it strategy? What was going through your head for this race?
Well, first of all, the miles is just insanely OP on this track with the Super, which is the best car here. I love the combo for sure. That's probably one of my favorite, if it's not my favorite combo. The strategy helped a lot. Doing a 2-stop is very better than the 1-stop that, by example, Maverick did. Because you lose on this track particularly because of the high-speed corner, you use a lot of time on hard tires.
Yes.
And the fuel is just incredible on this car, to be fair.
Yeah, you do have a little bit of an advantage on the fuel, but still in all, I mean, you did wind up gapping them by 10 seconds from Sosa, and that was really, there was some really crazy things going on behind you that I don't think, obviously, you didn't see, but the strategies were really out of the box tonight. But yeah, again, I just marvel at your driving skills here. You are really showing off and showing out. And after tonight, when we get the points updated, I believe with this second win in a row that's going to give you the advantage here. So we head into the next 2 tracks. to end things out here, we're going to go to Dragon Trail, and then we end things at Laguna Seca. So how do you feel about these next two tracks? I mean, we know you're a confident driver. We've seen what you can do so far. But yeah, what's your thoughts on these next two tracks coming up?
So, compared to Kyoto, Lago, and Interlagos, the car is for sure a bit less better on Dragon Trail, but it's pretty good on Laguna Seca, so I'm pretty confident about these two tracks, to be fair. Knowing like my love for Dragon Trail, I don't think I'm gonna have difficulty on there.
Yeah, well, I'd say so. I mean, I'd say that you should be confident, and you are definitely showing off and showing out. Thank you, as always, TX3 Quartz. We do appreciate it. Look for this guy to be on top 10 lap times for daily races. You will see him. He is participating in a lot of stuff on GTS as we close it out. And we did talk about this last week with you, Quartz, but are you super excited for GT7? Did you pre-order it already? I mean, what's your story here with GT7? Because we don't know a lot about sport mode yet, and I'll let Rodrigo jump in and ask you anything that he might want to ask you before we let you go.
Well, for G7, I'm really excited for sure. I'm gonna pre-order the game tomorrow. But for me, I play G for the sport mode. It's essentially for the competition. So if the sport mode is not that good, I'm just gonna kick it off and doing like community event like I'm doing around League Race. Well, League Race is basically what we are doing around. But yeah, it's basically for the esports side I want this game. So hopefully
Right.
the game have a pretty good sport mode. I'm not gonna be satisfied with it.
Well, and anything from Rod? Last one for me, Quartz. Yeah, you mentioned that
Right.
in case they don't have sport mode, or maybe it's not good, that maybe you would come back here or other leagues. So we do look for you to be with us for GT7 as we gather all our Gran Turismo drivers back. At one point we had almost 100 drivers in all different divisions. So yeah, we look for that to take place in GT7. So we do hope indeed that you do join us. But we'll finish out this season first. And thank you again for joining us. As always, great performance tonight. I'm not sure if Rod has any questions for you before we move on to Hoodie, but take it away if you do, Rod. Great job, Quartz.
Thank you, Couch. All a pleasure to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
I do not have a question for Quartz, but I've been looking forward to talking to Hoodie. Hoodie, firstly, I'll pay you a compliment. I think that the first few laps, I don't know if you started P5 or P6, but it was crazy. End of lap 2, I think. So 2 laps, you had picked up 4 cars and you were in the lead, and you had pretty good pace. I think that what let you down was the fuel on the Mustang, which does drink a lot of fuel, but yeah, I just gotta say, great driving. You did a great job, and yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it yourself as much as we did watching it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. The Mustang's not really as much of a handful as I thought it was going to be around here. So I just knew I had to stay on the softer compound to really know that I was going to get around the track pretty good. So, and I didn't want to chance it with the fuel. I just knew what to do with it, and short fuel to where I could get the 5 laps in, and went on from there.
Yeah, it was great stuff. Also at the end when you switched to the softs and also got by those 2 cars, it seemed like you had the right calls tonight.
Yeah, I knew I just had to get off the hards. This car hates them. It's not like when I first started racing back 4 years ago now, where the hards were a good tire, and now they're just awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be torture for sure, Hoodie. Hey, Rick in the chat, great job. That's LSE, just in case anybody forgot, and the Addy. But let me ask you a question, Hoodie. Like Rod, to piggyback on what Rod was saying, phenomenal start to the race. You wound up on the soft tires to start things out with, which the other guys went with the medium, so that was to your advantage there. You knew you had to make up room. You wound up passing Quartz for the lead, and you got around Sosa, you got around Quartz. And at that point, were you thinking to yourself, strategy-wise, did you know your strategy the whole time going into it, or did you switch something up on the fly? And the second part of that question is, the Mustang eats fuel, so were you short shifting it throughout, or what was going on there? Was your strategy locked in from the get-go, or did you switch on the fly? And how were you on fuel?
When it comes to the strategy stuff, I kind of I just wing it.
It's even more impressive.
But no, I knew with the Mustang, and it gets a really good launch. It's not quite like the Corvette or the Viper does, but it's, I want to say, top 5 best standing starts if you can nail it. So I just knew if I got on the sauce, I could keep up with those guys. I knew they were just far more quicker than I was. So yeah, no, the sauce was the way to go from the start for me. But if I didn't qualify in the top 7, I was going to start on the hards, get them out of the way, and just run mediums and the softs to the end. So I knew that I had my backup strategy already planned up. So and with the fuel, you just gotta get flat out that thing.
Yep.
You can definitely short shift it. The torque range is pretty good on the Mustang, so I wasn't really having to really play with anything. I saved just a smidge there on the medium stint, just have a little bit more fuel for a shorter stop. But no, when I got in the hards, I had to make it a 5 lap run on the hards, because I can't get it to do anything.
Yeah, well, some of the races are 3 laps on the hards, most of them are the 5, but with the fuel and tire wear combos switching every round, credit to Rodrigo for that, putting all the combos together. But the last question for me before I let you go, what were you thinking when you saw J-Rod come into the pits? Because J-Rod, we thought, really pulled off a great strategy. He had 5th place locked up basically, and he might have had to defend from you, because you were charging on those soft tires. If he never went into the pits, he was probably going to have to defend from you, and you guys were going to have a battle. But he did have a decent lead. Me and Rodrigo were very shocked that he was coming into the pits. Did that surprise you?
Kind of, but not really. I knew that when he came into for that medium stint, I knew he'd be catching up to Spiff, or
Sephiroth.
How do you pronounce it? Sephiroth.
Yep.
I knew when he caught to him, it's going to take him a little bit, maybe a half lap to a lap to get around him. So, and with his pace, he's got great pace. So, I just knew that the tires for the Lexus they're pretty average, nothing special or anything like that. So, I was kind of surprised, and I kind of wasn't. Unless
Steph's son is driving the Lexus, then I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep it going.
But no, I think if he stayed out, it probably would have been. I think I would have caught him in either the very beginning of the last lap or about halfway through the last lap, and 4 laps, or however fresher tires are. They're a big game here.
Right, exactly, and that's why the strategy is so key. But it would have been really like there's no telling whether or not you would have caught him. We I'm sure you would have, but at least he would have had a chance to defend you. Maybe even half a lap to go. It seemed like that's how it would have worked out. So like I said, we were really shocked. But hey, hats off to you. You did a great job. It was really an outstanding strategy from you, and we really enjoyed watching you hunt down everybody once you got back on those softs for a second time. So, running all 3 of the compounds 2 times, really great job, man. Really great job. So we look forward to seeing you next week. I have been meaning to ask you, though, can you mind telling everybody out there what PDX stands for?
See, here's a little story behind that. So I run a different league where we run just straight up Porsches. That's all we run, the 911 RSR. And they came in, and they were a really small team. And as you can tell, I left DNA just for certain reasons, and we weren't really, doing the competitive stuff a whole lot more. So I decided to leave. It wasn't anything against any of them or anything like that, but
Of course, right.
they're
right.
they're a team. I think there's 6 of us now. They formed a team last year. It's Portland something. I can't remember what the DX is, but they're based out of Portland.
Out of Portland,
So,
okay.
And then the guy that runs it, he's got a small sticker business, and some other businesses he gets a little sponsorship from, and we run them on the cars.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you for that info. I was wondering that for sure. But yeah, so to Quartz and to Hoodie, I mean, you guys just have done an outstanding job. So thank you guys so much for tonight. It was really a pleasure. We're gonna get out of here, but we will see you for sure next week. So definitely hope to see both of you next week. Rod, did you save the replay?
Yes, I've saved the replay, and we've got it just in case we need it.
Okay, very good, very good. So I'm gonna exit the lobby here. We'll get back to the chat, but thank you once again to TX3 Quartz for another victory, back-to-back weeks, and Hoodie for an outstanding job in the strategy in that Mustang. What a unbelievable job from Hoodie here. So if we go back into the chat now, Rod, a couple people have a few questions here. Yeah, well, yes, it was a great race, Rick. Yeah, that's LSE, and LSE, Rodrigo did say it before. He was giving you a lot of props for driving that Audi. You've come a long way, so it's really good to see. You're improving each and every week, so that's really, really great to see. So hats off to you, and we'll see you up. You guys were battling all night. There was really a lot of battles all night, so really great job, Rod. And now up next, Rod, we go to the ever so famous Gran Turismo track, Dragon Trail, and it's been a daily race this week, so the drivers could have some decent practice with it, for the remainder of the week. But everybody's been running the supers there, as you know. But yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks of all time, actually. It's obviously a fictional track by Gran Turismo, but they do such a great job. And if there's one thing to point out at Dragon Trail, everybody knows what that is, and that is the death chicane. So will we see people survive that? We don't know, but it's going to make for a really interesting race again. Did I lose Rodrigo? Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I don't know, maybe it's internet bug or something. I don't hear him either.
Yeah, I don't know if Rodrigo is with us anymore. So
sorry, I couldn't hear you too well. You were cutting out, but that's my fault. That's my internet. But yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying, next week is going to be another unbelievable track and one of Gran Turismo's, phenomenal jobs that they do with their fictional tracks, and everybody's favorite, which is Dragon Trail. And I said it's a daily race this week, so the drivers have some practice that they can get going, but they got to watch out for the death chicane, as that track is what it's known for. But a great flowing track, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that race.
Yeah, same here. I think the death chicane, if the drivers are not at the top of their game, it's gonna claim some victims. It catches out even the best drivers when they're pushing too hard. So yeah, gotta watch out for that. That's gonna be one of the exciting. That's gonna be one of the things to look forward to next week. But yeah, aside from just a corner, we're gonna have a great racing and great driving, hopefully by everyone involved. So yeah, hope you guys can join us next week.
Yeah, exactly, and they will. And just before we get out of here, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody that has watched or will watch this back. Give a shout out to all the drivers. Shout out to Roger in the chat. Thank you guys so much. One Wing, Magic Man, Bugs, Apex, Rick, really appreciate everybody stopping by and giving us some love. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we will be back at Dragon Trail next week, ladies and gentlemen. So until then, we will see you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Set your calendars, set your clocks, and we will be there for you. So next Thursday night, we'll catch you then. Thank you, everybody. Wow.